This is the third part of our discussion. In this series of modules, we are discussing different examples of contour integration. Now, these examples are carefully chosen. So, these examples not only provide us a calculation challenge, and in this challenge we will see how to calculate contour integrals in different situations, but these examples also provide us a kind of insight into different properties of contour integration. Now, these kind of insights provide us a motivation for the main results of contour integration. Now, let's recall what we have calculated so far. So, in example 1, we evaluated this integral. So, the integrand is z, and we evaluated this along the contour C1, and C1 is this semicircle from minus iota to iota. And then in the same example, we integrated the same function but along a different contour C2, and the initial and final point was the same, and the result that we calculated in both cases was that the contour integral is 0. Now, this raised the following question. So, when a contour integral is independent of path, and of course these type of questions will be answered, and we will see these things in a very detailed way in our further modules. Now, let's begin with the example of this module. So, we have the function z conjugate, and we want to integrate it along the contour C1, and once again the contour C1 is the same, it's the semicircle from minus iota to iota, and the same function is integrated along the contour C2, and C2 once again is the same from minus iota to iota, it's this polygonal path. Now, let's begin with the answer. So, if you want to calculate or integrate this integral along the contour C1, then first of all we need to know the parametric representation of C1, and since it's a semicircle, so we can easily write down its parametric representation, e raised to power iota t, which is of course cosine t plus iota sine t, and the variation of t is basically from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So, we will get minus iota when t is minus pi by 2, and when we put t is equal to pi by 2, then we get iota. So, basically we are moving in this direction. Okay, it's the anti-clockwise direction. And we also know from the formula of contour integration that we need z prime of t as well. So, this is going to be equal to iota e raised to power iota t. Now, let's evaluate this z conjugate along the contour C1. So, according to the formula, this is going to be equal to f of z of t. Now, what is f of z? F of z is z conjugate. So, when we calculate f of z of t, then it is just going to be equal to e raised to power iota t conjugate, and z prime t is basically equal to iota e raised to power iota t and dt, and once again in this case we can see that t varies from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So, the limits are from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Now, if we want to evaluate this thing, now it is a relatively simple task. So, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Now, this is going to be equal to e raised to power minus iota t, because the conjugate of e raised to power iota t is e raised to power minus iota t, and e raised to power iota t dt, and when we multiply e raised to power minus iota t and e raised to power iota t, then it will just become e raised to power 0, and e raised to power 0 we know that is 1. So, it becomes iota minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 dt. So, this is going to be equal to iota pi by 2 minus pi by 2. So, according to the fundamental theorem, so this is equal to iota pi. So, that's the answer. Now, we can also write it down in the following way. So, since we know that z conjugate z is equal to modulus of z square, so which is equal to 1. So, this implies that z conjugate is basically equal to 1 over z. Okay. So, this implies the following thing. So, this implies that when we are calculating z conjugate dz along this contour C1, then it is going to be equal to dz over z, along the same contour C1, and the answer is iota pi. So that's how we calculate this contour. Now remember that the answer in this case is iota pi, and of course we want to see that what will happen if we integrate the same function along a different contour, but the initial and final point are the same in this case. Now once again this contour can be written as a union of two paths, so basically C2 star and C2 double star. So we will evaluate this integral along this path, along this leg C2 star first, and then along this second leg C2 double star. Now let's begin with the first part, where we want to evaluate this integral along this path C2 star. Now we need to know the parametric representation of this path. We know that how to find out the parametric representation of a line segment. So if the starting point is Z0 and the final point is Z1, then the parametric representation of this line segment is just Z0 plus Z1 minus Z0 t, and t varies between 0 and 1. So that's just a recall from our previous discussion. Now if we apply the same rule and the initial point is taken to be minus iota and the final point is taken to be Z1 is equal to 1, then we get the following representation of C2 star. So y1 of t is going to be equal to minus iota plus 1 plus iota t, and of course t varies between 0 and 1. So that's the parametric representation of C2 star, and we can also write it down in the following way: t plus iota t minus 1. So in this way the real and imaginary parts are separated and the variation of t is going to be the same. So that's the parametric representation of C2 star, and of course we are also going to need its derivative, which is going to be equal to 1 plus iota. Now let's evaluate this contour integral along this contour C2 star. So we are going to write down f of z of t, or in this case f of y1 of t, and y1 of t is minus iota plus 1 plus iota t, or in other words t plus iota t minus 1. And since the function is z conjugate, so we are just going to write down the conjugate of t plus iota t minus 1. So that's why we separated the real and imaginary parts, so that we can calculate its conjugate in a very simple way. And the derivative y1 prime of t is 1 plus iota dt, and the variation of t is obviously 0 to 1. Now we can write it down in the following way: 1 plus iota, it's just a constant complex number, and if we apply this conjugate, so what we get? So t minus iota t minus 1. So this plus iota becomes minus iota, and we are left with this very simple integral. So 1 plus iota, and the integral is going to be equal to t square by 2 minus iota t square by 2 minus t, and the limits of integration are 0 to 1. And if we evaluate this integral, then we are going to get 1 plus iota. So when we put t is equal to 0 in the second term, then everything is going to be 0, and when we put t is equal to 1, what we get? So 1 by 2 minus iota, 1 by 2 minus 1. So if you simplify this term, then you will get iota. So that's this contour integral along this path C2 star. Now let's see how to integrate this along the second leg of this contour C2 double star, and then of course we are going to add these two answers, and that will give us the contour integral along the contour C2. Okay, now let's begin with the second part of this contour integral. So the second part is this C2 double star. Once again, in this case the initial point is going to be equal to 1 and the final point is going to be equal to iota, So once again, use that parametric representation of a line segment. Initial point is 1, final point is iota. Use it and get the following parametric representation of C2 double star. So y2 of t, let's call it y2 of t. So this is going to be equal to 1 plus iota minus 1 t, and t varies between 0 and 1. And of course, when t is equal to 0, you can easily see that the answer is 1. So you are at this point when t is equal to 0, and when t is equal to 1, once again you can see that you are going to be here at t is equal to iota. So this is the initial point, this is the final point, and you are moving in this direction. So let's write it down in a way such that we can calculate its conjugate in a simple way. In other words, let's write down the real and imaginary parts separately. So now the iota is very separated so that we can calculate its conjugate. Of course, we are also going to need its derivative, so which is going to be equal to iota minus 1. Now let's evaluate this integral along this second leg of the contour C2, so which is C2 double star. Z conjugate dz, this is going to be equal to, so the limits of integration are obviously 0 to 1, and so first of all we write f of y2 of t. So what is f? Z conjugate, and f of y2 of t becomes the conjugate of y2 of t, and y2 of t is nothing but 1 minus t plus iota t, and we need to write down the conjugate of this, and the derivative is iota minus 1 dt. Okay, now once again this iota minus 1 is constant, so we can write it down outside the integral, and the conjugate is going to be equal to 1 minus t minus iota t. Okay, so just replace this iota with minus iota. That's how we calculate the conjugate. So iota minus 1, so let's integrate it. So if you integrate it, then it becomes t minus t square by 2 minus iota t square by 2, and the limits of integration are 0 to 1. Okay, now let's apply the limits of integration. So if we apply the limits of integration, iota minus 1, so 1 minus 1 by 2 minus iota by 2. So that's what we get when we put t is equal to 1 in this term, and when we put t is equal to 0, then everything is going to be 0. So that's it. If we evaluate this thing and if we simplify this thing, then we are going to get something like 1 by 2 minus 1 minus 2 iota plus 1, which is going to be equal to minus iota. So that's the contour integral along the second leg of this contour C2. So at the end, what is going to be the answer? So what is going to be the integral of this z conjugate along this contour C2? So this is going to be equal to z conjugate dz along C2 star plus z conjugate dz along C2 double star. So the answer in this case was iota, and the answer in this case was minus iota, and so the answer is 0. Now in this case we integrated z conjugate along two different contours. So one contour was this semicircle from minus iota to iota, and the second contour was this polygonal path from minus iota to 1 and then 1 to iota. And we observed that in both cases the answer was different. And in example 1, we integrated z along the same contour C1 and C2, and the answer was the same. So once again the question remains the same: under what condition contour integral is independent of path? Because in the case of the function f of z is equal to z, the answer was same, and in the case of function f of z is equal to z conjugate, the answer was different. So these kind of conditions and these kind of properties will be explored in a much detailed way in our further modules. Now let's see another example where we want to evaluate this contour integral. So the function is z and the contour is c, which is a circle from minus iota to minus iota. Okay, so from this point to this point, so as shown in the figure. Okay, So we are moving in this direction. So this is the initial and final point. Okay, and of course the final point as well. Now let's see how to evaluate this contour integral. Now first of all, we need to know the parametric representation of C, and we know the parametric representation of a circle. So this is going to be e raised to power iota t, and the only thing which is going to be different in this case is the parameter range. The parameter t is ranged from minus pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. So minus pi by 2 is the initial point. Okay, so this is 0 and this is going to be minus pi by 2. So this is the initial point, and then of course we move in this direction and we end up at this point, which is basically, so this angle is 3 pi by 2. So we start from minus pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 is the end. Okay, so of course if we want to calculate this contour integral, we are going to need its derivative, which is iota e raised to power iota t. And let's see how to integrate this thing. Of course we are going to apply this representation or this way of evaluating. So this is going to be equal to a to b. So a in this case is minus pi by 2, b is 3 pi by 2, and then we are going to calculate f of z of t, z prime of t, dt. Now let's apply this way of evaluating contour integral, and let's see how to evaluate this integral z dz along this circle from minus iota to iota counterclockwise. Okay, so this is going to be equal to minus pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 initial and final points, and iota e raised to power iota t, and then e raised to power iota t. So this iota is basically coming from the derivative of z of t dt. So this is going to be equal to iota. So of course this becomes e raised to power iota 2t, and we know what is the integral of e raised to power iota 2t. So this is e raised to power iota 2t divided by 2 iota, and the limits are going to be equal to minus pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. So once again using the fundamental theorem, so this is going to be equal to e raised to power iota 3 pi minus e raised to power minus iota pi. So evaluating the values, so what do we get? So iota multiplied by minus 1 minus minus iota, so this is going to be equal to 0. Now observe that in this case the contour integral is going to be 0. So, and the contour in this case is kind of a simple closed curve. Okay, so the next question to explore is when a contour integral around a simple closed contour is 0, and obviously this question will also be considered in our further discussions. Now in this module we explored some more examples of contour integration, and we also observed some questions. So for example, when the contour integral is independent of path, when the contour integral along a simple closed curve is 0. So these kind of questions arise from the examples that we solved. So these examples not only increase our capability of calculating the contour integral, but also gives us motivation for exploring further the properties of contour integral. So in the next module we will explore examples of contour integration if a branch cut passes through a contour.